and they're just like, we'll never be friends. And I'm like, yeah, no, 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 don't worry about it. I've got some like weird, I've got like my own quests, you know. But I saw this video. I saw the name. Windows was the problem all along. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to fucking like, uh, this is interesting. Uh, yeah. Saw this. I don't know what it means. Windows was the problem all along. So many questions. It will answer them. I hope he will. Let's check it out.
Back in February of this year, Lenovo launched the Windows version of this product, their Legion Go S. And it was received very poorly. It was an expensive device, battery life wasn't great, and performance was pretty mid. It just wasn't a good device compared to the competition. But we knew that there was a second version of this product coming out that was built with a direct partnership with Valve. And this wasn't like some Bazite or community mod, it was an official partnership with Valve to create this. The first handheld running SteamOS out of the box that wasn't made by Valve. Now, compared to the original Legion Go S, it's got the same hardware, but it's just an operating system difference. And this made such a massive impact on how good this product is. This is so much better than the Windows version. The Windows version had a white outer shell, but the SteamOS version comes in this dark purple colorway. It's also plastic, but the hardware on the inside is exactly the same. And because of that, this is the first time we've had a device, because of the identical hardware, you could compare an official Windows gaming handheld with an official SteamOS gaming handheld. So I'm going to address performance first. On the Legion Go S, games running on SteamOS are just better performing than the same game running in Windows 11 by like 5 to 10, sometimes even 15%. It's not every game that I tested, but most of them. And the gains come from the reduced overhead that Linux has compared to Windows 11. And like the Steam Deck, the games here are being run through Proton, a compatibility layer, but performance is generally excellent across Steam titles. Now, if you compare the performance of this device, the Legion Go S, with the Steam Deck, so this is the Steam Deck OLED, you can get better performance on the Legion Go S, but it does require more wattage to do it. The Legion Go S tops out at 33 to 40 watts, depending if you're plugged in. The Steam Deck only goes up to 15 watts. I did also test the higher tier version of the Legion Go S. This has the Z1 Extreme chip, so it's a little bit faster, but it is more expensive. For the games that I was testing, I feel like the sweet spot's in that 15 to 25 watt range, depending on the game. I think the Steam Deck's chip, though, is still the best option when it comes to running undemanding 2D or like indie titles, because this chip can run at really low wattages for extending battery life if it's something you're looking for. Now, about the battery, the Legion Go S has a 55 watt hour battery, and the battery life on the Windows version of it was awful. Like, it was really bad, and the fans would sometimes kick in when you're doing nothing. But with the SteamOS versions, even though it's got the same battery size, the battery life was way longer, and it's because Linux doesn't have all the crazy background tasks and telemetry that Windows does. The other thing, SteamOS brings excellent sleep and suspend functionality to this device, and this is where the partnership with Valve really shines, because it runs perfectly, better than it did on Bazite. It basically runs as good and as reliably as the Steam Deck, which is unheard of. Like, if you think about Windows devices, and it's not just this product here, but it's basically Windows laptops and anything that needs power management running Windows, it struggles with it. You put one of these devices to sleep or you suspend it and you think it's slept because the light's off, but the power just drains sometimes, and you can't reliably suspend in the middle of games on Windows devices. But on SteamOS, the sleep and it just works perfectly. You put it to sleep and it reliably goes to sleep, and overnight it'll drain like 1 or 2%, and then if you want to, days later, you can start your system back up in the middle of a game and just resume playing. It's the way it should be. This works exactly the way that it should, and exactly like the way the Steam Deck does. And it is crazy to me that, like, if you think about it, something so fundamental as sleep, wake, and resuming games, like, is something that Windows just can't do.
I actually understand. So basically, I will explain you the story because not everyone is a fucking mega nerd, right? So basically, this dude is amazed because like the Steam Deck and like Windows created like his own Steam Deck and with Windows in it, right? And the story goes by Steam has his own like Windows, so his own like model of like so basically his own like iOS, right? So I don't remember. Explore. So basically, Steam has his own Windows, right? And basically, what they did is not they didn't change the fucking like they didn't change anything about what you're seeing right now. So the fucking box, right? The hardware. They just put that fucking like Steam exploitation OS, right? So the system, and everything is better. And actually, the whole story of this video is that this dude heard about that, and he tells you for 7 minutes how fucking insane this is, because like the dude cannot fucking believe it. Here you go. If you didn't understood why the fuck this dude was so fucking like mad, was so fucking mad, like was so fucking crazy about like some performance difference between like two different systems. Like, here's why. Dude cannot believe it. They didn't change anything about the hardware, so they didn't change anything physical, added a better graphic card or fans or whatever, or CPU or CGU, right? They just changed the fucking exploitation system, and stuff is better. And I can understand for like someone that works in it, that actually do videos about it, how fucking unbelievable it is. Anyway, you get the answer on why this dude is like just like so fucking fascinated and like happy and surprised about like such trivial subject. Now you can continue.
reliably, and
We can
it's
continue.
so frustrating. And this ties into the whole user experience. Like on SteamOS, this is a very intuitive and snappy and responsive operating system. There's no pop-ups, there's no Microsoft bloat, there's just nothing that takes away from the user experience. You can just pick it up and play. Even a 6-year-old child can do it. But on Windows handhelds, you gotta boot into Windows, which is a mouse-focused operating system, first of all, and then it has to load up a launcher, or sometimes two, because you gotta load the Lenovo launcher, then it also has to load up Steam or other game launchers, and then there's updates for all this stuff, in addition to individual driver updates. So this is a tech channel, and a lot of you guys are comfortable with this stuff because a lot of us use Windows, but for the vast majority of the world, on a gaming console, this is just very difficult to go through. And the estimated sales figures reflect that. Like the Steam Deck with SteamOS just crushes the Windows-based handhelds. And that's despite these Windows devices having better screens and better performance and bigger.
And also like because like the Steam Deck was promoted on Steam, so usually the people who actually fucking saw the ad were actually already like game users, and they trust Steam. Steam is a beautiful company that is not like you tell a gamer MSI is releasing a game held handheld console. What the fuck is MSI, right? Like, but Steam releasing a console, you're like, okay, it's kind of like yeah.
Your batteries and the ability to play any kind of game that runs on Windows. Like, keep in mind, the Steam.
And then on the same like Steam page that you get like the Steam Deck, right? You get the people like doing like the rankings, like not rating people rating the Steam Deck, and they get like only like good ratings, right? So compared to like the MSI console, right? Where do you get ratings? From a dude like like him. And no insult to this dude, because he is awesome. Like, it's just that like people will not fucking like believe like go on a fucking like computer review channel to fucking like understand if it's worth buying a gaming console promoted by MSI, right? Here you go.
OS operating systems, unless you tweak it, can only run Steam games. But despite the advantages of the Windows systems, the numbers don't lie. People want a console-like experience. They want to pick up a device and just play with as little friction as possible. But Windows handhelds have a lot of friction. Now, the other thing is cost. Because Windows devices have to have a Windows license, that already increases the cost by like $50 at the minimum. So SteamOS devices are just inherently cheaper. The Steam Deck OLED comes in at $550 right now. The base model of the Legion Go S, this was slated to launch at $550 earlier this year, but it looks like it's going to actually come out at $599. So it's like a $50 premium over what they had originally planned, possibly because of tariffs. You do get slightly better performance at the top end, but the Steam Deck is better at lower wattages. But the screen on the Legion Go S is significantly better to me. This is a bigger screen, it's higher res, it's faster refresh rate, it's variable refresh rate, so games just look ultra smooth. It's not an OLED panel, it's an LCD, but it's a kick-ass panel. I think a lot of people would prefer just the size and characteristics of this panel over the Steam Deck OLED. The touchpad on the Legion Go S isn't as good as the one on the Steam Deck. This one's so small in comparison, but the overall ergonomics of the Legion Go S are fantastic. I actually really like the way this thing feels. And there's also cases available for this device, like there's the Kill Switch from Dbrand already. I think it's just gonna be a reasonably well-selling device. Now, there were a couple of thoughts that popped into my mind while I was checking out this SteamOS hardware. The first is like, for Valve, if they're willing to put in the resources and development time to make this product, like to make a custom tuned version of SteamOS for a specific hardware vendor, and keep in mind they did a really good job at it. If they're willing to do this, why would they stay in the hardware game for that much longer? Like, doesn't it make more sense for Valve to just be like, we'll let the hardware guys handle hardware and we'll just do the software stuff, because that's where the profit margins are, right? You get 30% cut on every game. That's why these things exist, to sell games. So I think Valve wants to make more hardware, but at the same time, I'm like, I could see them leaving sooner than later. I could see them just exiting that whole hardware thing sooner than I would want. Okay, the other thing is...
The only thing is that, like, when it comes to like the Steam Deck, is that like they want Valve actually wanted to create a handheld for all their games that they over the years got the not the ownership, but like got got on their platform, right, to run on a system. And this is why Valve actually probably will stay. Actually, I actually disagree with him. Will probably stay in the hardware place, because the objective of the Steam Deck is to run all the Steam games on a handheld. And because of that, only Steam can do it. Because if you see the other industries, I cannot watch the other industries, it's not as reliable as Steam. Okay, and I understand. I will, if I was Steam, I will not believe in anyone but myself to be able to deal with that. Because like, if you see the catalog of games of Steam, it's so huge. Like, it's so huge, and it keeps on growing, right? So yeah.
When I was testing this stuff out, I thought, how did we get to this stage where Microsoft allowed this to even happen? Like, we've had handheld gaming PCs for a decade. Microsoft's had 10 years to make handheld gaming on Windows better, and it just hasn't changed very much. I don't feel like Microsoft can keep ignoring this. This is just, all it was a piece of software, and it's so much better. It makes this product so much better the moment you remove Windows. So they got to do something about this. Okay, there you have it. SteamOS is awesome, and I think it fundamentally changes this product genre.
This was a great video. So subscribe to Dave2D if you're into that stuff. I'm actually like kind of done with like trying to understand what the fuck was what the fuck is how the fuck am I supposed to understand computers and stuff like that. I was into that stuff, but like, it's just tiring over time. So thank you so much. Let's keep on going.